Hello everyone, this is another video on creating web application, and this particular one is one that the user uh, provides a city anywhere in the world, and the application return the distance between the city and New York, or New York to the city. I have here opened our editor here, commode edit, and also I already have my AMPserver, or I should say my MAMP, right? Which is right here. Right? Remember, on my machine, it runs on port 8888. We don't have a physical server, right? So we are using this virtual server, which makes our own machine a server. So when you deploy it, actually you are really getting that web application that it sits here, it's stored in your own machine. But it behaves as a server. It has a database. It runs a server-side programming language, and it behaves as a server. Okay, so we have the two components. I have the editor and I have the server. Okay, good. So let's go back to our editor here. Let's create our file here. A new file. And I'm going to save that file into our document root directory, which is that location in your server that it makes easier to retrieve web pages or to get web pages. So I'm going to save as here. And usually when you have a Windows machine, that's inside of the location where you install WAMP. Right? And inside the WAMP, there is a subfolder called www. That's your document root directory. In my case here, is inside where I installed the MAMP. I'm going to go to applications. And inside the application, I have the MAMP, right? And here I go all the way down here to MAMP. Inside the MAMP, I have my document root directory, which is this one here, htdocs. And again, here I'm going to make a folder, right, to hold that web application there, right? So it's a Spring 2020. Let me put here Spring 2020, and that's going to be we did our prog 0 here, or web application 0. Let me do this as web app 1, our second web application. I created this, and I'm going to make these all files, and I'm going to call that file there our HTML page. So I'm going to put here web app1.html. And again, this web application is a simple one, right, where the user enters a city, and the application returns the distance between that city and New York. And the city can be located anywhere in the world. Okay, so let's do it. So let's start our HTML file here. We'll load this up here. And let's put our head here. A title. We're going to be distance New York to world city. Okay. Open up the body here. I'm going to put the title there also, the header line actually. Just copy and paste the title there, Control copy, Control V. Now what is the idea? Have the user enter city, right? And then pass the information to a file that sits on the server, Right? Besides, also, this page that we're creating is also be stored in the server. Okay, actually, it's already right. We saved that htdoc. That's a location on the server. So we're gonna pass. We're gonna use a form tag, right? So let's put a form tag to pass this. Form action. Let's just say web app 1.php. We're gonna use PHP. A form. We're gonna ask the user name city, né? City. Now there's a few ways to do this, to get the information from the user. Can be just a text box, can be a drop-down window where the user selected, right? Tap that or click on the city. And this one would be the better one, right? Why? Because you don't give the user the freedom to type in. And every time you have a user type in an input, it opens up a opportunity for the user to type anything and put space and put a character, or the user is a little sleepy, type some crazy stuff there, right? And then it forces you to have a validation, right? Validation is fine because it's basically, usually it's done using JavaScript, and you bring this page to your machine. You are a client now. You issue the command get to get this page, it come to you. If the validation is done in JavaScript, so it doesn't need to go back to the server to validate. The validation will be done here in JavaScript. So just to go over validation, let's get the city through a text box. So I'm going to put here input type is a text. I'm going to give an ID. Just say city txtbx for text box. I'm going to also name here city txtbx. Okay, we can use an actual attribute here for HTML5. We can required, right? And the next thing is just autofocus, so the user don't need to click the cursor right on the text box there. Just say autofocus and close that, right? Let me move this inside here. I'll give this some indentation here. We have a city, right? A form. As it is, nothing to be sent here because you need a button to send this over to that PHP file or program. So let's put a paragraph here and add that submit button here. And the value is going to go show distance. Show distance. Okay. As I said in the beginning here, by doing this, the user going to type it in. Now, you don't want this to be sent to the server, and then over there, you didn't type anything. You just press the button, submit, blank. Or you put the city, 2232. Is there a city with a number? Is there anywhere in the world a city that the name is a number? I don't think there is, right? So you have to do some validation here. So we're going to do here in a form, before you submit it, we're going to use this attribute here. See, on submit is a call to a function. But this function is a Boolean function, which means it's a function that returns either true or false. So if the function returns true, the submit button go and send the information to that program, their web application 1PHP. If the function, the Boolean function, returns false, on submit becomes false, and it doesn't return. It stays on a form. It's very common, right? You fill out a form, and then you type something that is not proper. So you stay in a form, and then you have a sign there or a message displaying that you type a wrong input and so on, or invalid input. So this we're going to do a return check input. That's the function we are calling. Check input. All right, that's the form. We have the curly bracket. Is a warning there. It's not a problem. It's not a problem. You can put in a semicolon here, but it doesn't. It shouldn't. No, yeah, it's another warning there. So don't disregard that. Okay. So let's write the function there, check input. It is a Boolean function, right? So it returns either true or false. So let's start our script here. The script type text or JavaScript. And let's call the function, or let's define the function. Check input. Okay. It's a very simple function, right? First, it reads the input and makes sure that the input is valid. If it's valid, return true, otherwise return false. And the user or the client stay on the form until it enters something that's valid. And then the submit bot sent to the action, to this guy here. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm missing the double quote here. Okay, let's do function check input. So let's reading input city. So let's do var input city. How to read document dot get element by ID. Our ID there is, what is that? City txtbx. Just a name, any name is fine. We're going to get the value of the text box or the contents of the value. And another one thing here, it's always good to have it because user sometimes is tired or user is so fast, is always or press the space bar. It just, this is actually insurance trim, open close parentheses. What this function does, let's minimize here so you can see the whole command. The trim, it trims right and left, the beginning of the input and the end of the input. It trims the space, if any possible space there. So you get only the input. All right, good. So validation. What is the validation we're going to do here? Well, the city cannot be blank. So city not blank. And we don't accept, we won't accept the city with the number. Né? What the city? 111. What is this? Oh. So we're going to say here and not a number. Not a blank and not a number. So we're going to do here a conditional if input city different from a blank and input city. Oh, better. JavaScript has a function, built-in function called is not a number. Is not a number, right there. See, open parentheses inside what you want. Input city. Okay. So, well, actually, the only thing we're going to do here, if this condition is satisfied, we return true. Else, we're going to do two things here. First, let's send an alert and say, please enter a valid city. And we're going to return false. Okay. So that should do it. I'll return true. I miss a semicolon. Right? And that's what the editor does. It helps us coding. Eh? Sometimes you are so fast you forget minimum details here. Return true. Okay. Is it done? Yeah, it's pretty much done. Okay. Okay, so let's save this. Let's get this one. We're going to do in commode here. Remember, web application, we deploy that in servers, so people can reach, people anywhere in the world can reach this web application. So you issue the command http://, which means get the name of the server. Well, our server is called localhost. In my case, it runs on port 8888. If you are in Windows, most likely it runs on port 80, so you won't need that port. Just type localhost. Now we have it there. This takes me all the way to my document root directory, htdocs. Inside I have Spring 2020, and you have another folder, web app1, and then this name of here, web of this page, web app1.html. Let me remember this, and let's preview. So we got that, the cursor's flash on the text box, just to check that, well, I'm not going to type anything, just click show distance here, Please enter valid city. Remember, we are validating two things, blank or number. 2233. Show distance, please enter valid city. So it's behaving the way we expect, the way we want. Good, all right. So let's work, let's close this guy here. Let's work now on this program here, web app1.php. Okay, so let me do here, file. It's the same step as we did when we create the web app1. So new file. It comes and save at txt, we're gonna save as. And I'm going all the way up inside of my document root directory, applications, go to MAMP, go to my htdocs, I have a subfolder Spring 2020 and web application 1, and I'm gonna, don't click save as yet, take as this as all files, and I'm gonna call that web app1.php. We're gonna implement this with PHP. Save. Okay, good. So how to do? Well, the beginning, as you know, right? We put the delimiter there, right? To tell the browser, right? The web server, that this is PHP. And remember, web server is an add-on to the browser. Né? The browser, as of now, any browser, it only understands HTML and JavaScript. So if you have a page written in another language, right? So you have to add this web server. Right? In our case, is the Apache. Okay. All right, you have this. So what we do? Let's read that city. Right? Read it. Remember that the form is sent to us the city. So let's read that now. So read the city, the input city. This is the input city. So we're gonna store that in a variable. We're gonna put that input. We can call the same thing. It doesn't matter actually. Input city. So we're gonna read. Remember the form. Let's go back here just to make a little notification here. The form here. Another attribute here on the form tag would be method. Right? By default, the method is get. If you want to send it through the other method, the post, so you type that method is equal post. So since we did not type the method, it went through using the method get. So let's go back here and use that object there, underscore big G get. In a square bracket, we put the name of the object that contains the value there. The object there, the name is this guy here, city txtbx. So we're gonna go back there and put that city txtbx. Good, we read the city, right? So we read the city. Now the idea here is take the city and see if the city is in a server. Right? So what we're going to do, this is a simple one. We still, we're giving, like, let's say 4 cities, right? And we're going to store that in an array, right? So we're going to do this here, $, right? Let's see here, let's put the comment here. Server stored pair, the pair city, comma, distance. In an array. Right? So we're going to call this array distance. Array is an array. And let's populate it. It's a 2 value, so this is going to be this 2D array. So we're going to put it here. $, distance array. This is the row. Here is the column, 0, 0. Oh, sorry. This goes like this. And let's start with doubling. Let me copy and paste this. It's a 4 records, so it's going to be 8 of this statement or this command line, control copy. And here is the whole array. Early here. Now we do the case insensitive. If, let's use the PHP string case compare, né? That's case string case compare in parentheses. We're going to take the element of the array that correspond to city, right? If $, distance array, whichever row we are at, and the first column, that's the city, comma, compare that with the input city. And if you compare that, this function return a value. Remember, if it is greater than 0, it means that the element in the array has more characters, it's bigger. And if it's less, so the element in the array has less character. And if it's equal 0, they are the same. Equal 0. Two equal signs, right? Equal 0. All right. So now I come, so I'm going to put here $, the distance is equal to $, distance array, in parentheses, the row, $, row, and the element, the second column of that row, right? The second column of that row. We can also display again the city, right? $, city. So we're going to be that we know what it is. Is this guy here, right? Look. Control copy. Control V. And we can print now. Print. I'm going to go like this. The distance between New York and, let's concatenate that with the $ city, is, that's a string, space is space, concatenate that. Let me go down here, so $ distance, concatenate that, miles, that's done in miles. And if you found a match, right, you don't need to keep it looping, so just get out of the looping. If you get in the second row, you just get out of the loop. Now you don't need to go to the other rows because you already have a match. Assume that's unique, né? Although there is, right? There's Paris in France, there's Paris in some other country, right? Okay, good, right. Another thing that can introduce here, like give the user, like if it is a large one, is that, what is it, 16 for? So you put create a number format here. Let's do here like a df for distance format. I'm going to use it here. Number. This is a PHP number underscore format, and that's going to be here the $ in the distance, and with zero decimal point, right? No decimal point, and that no decimal point, and that's forced to have a comma there, so it breaks into thousands, right? No decimal. So instead of distance here, I'm going to display here df. Oh, sorry, that's df. Okay, and that should do it. Save this. Save. Let's go back to our HTML here because we remember that location. We come here, and then let's say here, I enter here Dublin, like a little d. show the distance between York and W is 31.26. Suppose like we misspell here, we call dubbing without the L. Sorry, there's one more thing that we need to do it. So here, one more thing here. Let's go to the PHP here. So we put it here if it is. Let's make it here. Let's create a Boolean variable that represents a match. So we're going to put here $found match is equal to false. Let's start with false. And here, if you find that, if you go inside this conditional here, we change that found match to true. Right? And then you do everything else. So at the end here, this is the end of the for loop, right? End of for loop. And then you do that if $found match is equal to. Remember, when it's true, you already displayed the print. The only thing that you saw here, if it's found the match, it stays false. And then you print here, print city not found. And that should do it. So we're gonna go here, save that. You can, that city not found, there's right there. So we can type here, let's force refresh here, city, let's put it here like Paris, Paris, this here, now let's force an arrow here, let's say Paris with 2 S's. So show distant, city not found. Okay, that's the end of this very simple web application, okay? Thank you.